So how do you find the strongest entries and on what time frame? Do you use a 1 minute time frame, 5 minute? Are you looking at the 1 year chart intermixed with a 4 hour chart? Actually, it's a little bit of everything. So in this video, hopefully I can break this down as simply as possible to show you when you can find really strong entries or exit points on intraday charts. That way you stop getting caught off guard. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so what I've chosen to do is strip this chart down, make it completely blank. That way I can build up this whole process with you in this video. That way you can kind of figure out how we eventually get to the pinnacle moment of buying a stock at the right time, maybe meshing together multiple time frames. What I'm showing you is pretty much taken me 7 years to learn. So again, that's a long time. So if you haven't already hit the thumbs up button, I don't know what you're doing. So hit that and then we'll get into this. So the first stock that I chose for us to look at is a stock NVAX, and there's multiple reasons why it's going to be a great stock for what we need to do here. So wouldn't it be great if maybe you can kind of figure out when the bottom of this day would be, or wouldn't it be great if you could kind of figure out when the top was going to be? So this was something that I battled with for a long time, and now what I'm going to do is basically show you how we eventually get to figuring out that this might be a green day. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dive into the 1 minute time frame, and I'm going to show you the pinnacle moment that we are focusing on to try to determine that this was going to be the bounce spot. Alright guys, what we're doing now is looking at a 1 year, 1 day time frame. And this is all in an effort to show you guys how we use bigger time frames, look at the trend to find out where that entry point may exist at on the intraday time frame. As I said before, the larger time frames, those trends hold more merit and are much stronger than smaller time frame trends. So a lot of times we're going to use that big time frame to take our entry intraday. And that's what I'm trying to show you right now. What you see on my chart are diagonal trend lines. These are called standard deviation. They're available for most traders on Thinkorswim. I also have a video in the description below which will show you how to set those up. So let's get going. What I want you to do is pay attention to this white line in the middle, all right? What I'm gonna do is zoom in and I'm gonna draw a line across that. So I'm gonna draw a horizontal support line across that diagonal line. And you might be asking why? Well, the reason is because when I switch this chart time frame to a 1 minute chart, I am no longer going to be able to see that longer term trend. So I want to know where that longer term trend exists at on the intraday chart. So I'm going to go ahead and put it there so that way when I'm looking at a 1 minute chart, I know exactly where the longer term trend comes into play on the intraday chart. All right. So when I put that horizontal line down there at 97.06 on the day, I can tell myself that when the stock NVAX is crashing all the way down here and you're thinking, when's it going to bottom? I have already placed my first potential entry point there on the chart. I already know where a potential bounce point is going to happen for NVAX because that is the long-term trend. And normally, stocks just don't break through their long-term trends on the first go. So we normally like to try to trade opposite. So what we're going to do here is go into the settings tab, and I'm going to put on a couple trades for you. So you guys can see that I actually traded this setup, okay? I took a 25 share long down there, and then I sold 15 shares, and then I did a little day trade here for 300 shares, and then I closed out fully there, and I took some more shares here, 100, and so as a whole, I've already made about $400 trading this stock today. And the whole entry point that I took on this low was simply based off of just that. Looking at the daily chart to know where the bigger levels are, placing them intraday, and then taking the entry off of that point. Now, you might be asking, Connor, how do you know it's going to work? Or how do you know that it's going to be a strong level? Well, that takes practice. The more that you do this, and the more times you run into situations like I've presented to you today, you will notice significant buying volume happening in that location. You will notice all of a sudden buyers come in or sellers are coming in. And so If I at 8 in the morning go, there's the bounce level on NVAX, and then at 10 o'clock the stock's trading at that level and we're seeing significant volume coming into the buy side, Connor is probably right. That probably is the bounce level. So you will come to find there are very unique coincidences that all happen when you start to pinpoint the perfect entry points, okay? You will see lots of volume and things will start to just make a little bit more sense. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much how you determine the best time frame to use when trading. Is it the 1 hour? Is it the 4 hour? Is it the 1 minute? Let me explain something. There's only 24 hours in a day, so whether or not it's a daily chart you're trading off of or a 1 minute chart you're trading off of, the entry point is always going to be the same price. 1 minute candles are just 1 minute candles. 5 minute candles are just 5 minute candles. But the low of a 5 minute candle will be that of the low of a 1 minute. The low of the day will be the lowest the price ever went on the 1 minute chart. So it doesn't necessarily matter what time frame you trade off of. It really just matters how you identify the entry. And the entry will most likely come from a bigger time frame. And a lot of times that's what you have to play off of, and you're going to want to map those out and put them on your intraday chart. So one of the ways that I've been able to really identify some of these key big intraday levels, using the longer term time frames is by using by using standard deviation. So definitely make sure to check out the links in the description and the video in the description, because that's going to help you get set up kind of with this same strategy that I have going on here. So it's all about taking the bigger time frames and then putting them on your 1 minute or 5 minute charts and knowing that those are potentially strong key levels that the stock will end up bouncing off of. What we're looking at now is SRNE on a 1 year, 1 day chart. And this is just to show you that I'm not yanking your chain. If you look at the stock SRNE, where is it located? It is located right down near the white line. If we go ahead and put our line over this line, you're going to see that significant buying volume started to come in on the stock as it got to the white level for the first time. We go look at the 1 minute chart. If you look at yesterday, close to that line, we had millions of shares of buying volume, and then it kind of based out. And then today, we dropped right to it and a little bit below, and we had lots of buying volume, and it turned into a really good long move. So again, I can tell you from a lot of experience, a lot of those strong entry points are going to happen off of daily chart or 4-hour chart levels. So I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you learned something new here today. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button before you go out so that we can spread this video to more people. That being said, thanks as always, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.